They burned out books. They killed the men that were keeping the law and had the books in their homes. They killed the women that had their sons circumcised. They killed the infants that were circumcised. So today, if that was to happen today, people would take this book and throw it out just to save their own life. Watch this, read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee.
So this nation that came against the Israelites, let's see some of their characteristics. Read.
From far.
From afar. They coming from a far land. Read.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies.
Now, the symbol of that nation that they're referring to, their symbol is what? The eagle. So now, if you look on the back of a dollar bill, what do you see on the back of it? You see what is this? An eagle, right? So I want you to look here. This is during the Greek captivity. This is the money from during Greek, right? What is on that coin?
Wait, you don't gotta run like that.
Right there. What kind of bird is that? It's an eagle. Look at the Roman captivity. What's on that? What's on that coin? An eagle. So the Spanish coin. What's on that? The eagle. What about this? The eagle. So now they're telling you who they are. All they did was change their name and revamp who they were by name only. Because when you look at them, they look like a certain race of people. But let's get some more information on those people. Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Because we were speaking Hebrew. They came over speaking English, Spanish. The conquistadors spoke Spanish. They didn't speak Hebrew. They were speaking African. They were speaking different languages that we did not speak. We spoke Hebrew. Watch this. Read.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Meaning they're like a bird of prey. They come with fierceness. If you're a rabbit and you see an eagle coming down to swoop you, it doesn't have a smile on his face when it's coming to devour you. It comes with fierce countenance, meaning it's coming to destroy you. Read.
Which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
We just went over that in Maccabees. It didn't show favor to the old or the young. Those are the people that is described as the nation of people that would come with fierce countenance. Now, who are those people today? What do they look like? Give me some descriptions.
They're white.
They're what?
They're white.
Your teeth are white. His shirt is white. So they're actually pink according to the Bible. Because the blood... Okay, there you go. But they're called Caucasians. These are the people that it's describing. And if you don't believe me, let's read verse 48. Read.
Verse 48.
The Bible calls them Esau or Edom. Alright? Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So you have to understand, first and foremost, you have enemies. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who sent those enemies against us? The Lord. Read.
And hunger.
And so for food, you got to go to your enemies. Any grocery store you can think of is owned by your enemy because he's the one that supplies the food. The seedless watermelons, the seedless bananas. He defiles the food so that you can't grow it yourself. You have to go to him to get it. Read.
And in thirst.
For drink. Any drink you can think of, you got to go to your enemies to get it. Read.
And nakedness.
For clothes, you have to go to your enemies to get it. I don't care if it's Rasul's. I used to get my clothes from Rasul's. Yes, the store, the business that land is sitting upon, who owns that? Who owns it? The land. The land. It's owned by the government. Who runs the government? So it's telling you, you got to go to your enemies for all these things, the cheap things in life. Read.
And what of all things?
But everything you think of, you have to go to him for it. Your education, your housing, your religions, your death certificate, birth certificate, driver's license, marriage certificate, insurance, everything you want out of life. Come on in the shade, man. Come on. Everything you want in life, you gotta go to your enemies to get it. Read.
And what of all things? And he.
Now this is the kicker. So I tell you all the characteristics of your enemies. And now it says, and he should do what?
Shall put a yoke of iron.
A what?
A yoke of iron upon thy neck.
That's how you know who he is, because he did this to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He put a yoke of iron around our neck. And when did the yokes of iron come off? You know?
I got to go. I'm tell you something.
You gonna answer my question? Okay. No, before you go to a question, I want you to answer my question.
Just the answer.
By
our people procreate our nation.
What was my question?
When did the yoke come off?
So what's the answer? When did the yokes of iron come off?
I feel like it's still on.
Oh, thank you. When did the yokes of iron came off?
Present.
Present? What about you? So when did the yokes of iron come off?
They don't come off until we keep the law, statutes.
Very good. Watch this. Read.
Until he has destroyed thee.
But we're still on the face of the earth.
Right.
So we wasn't destroyed. So what does that mean?
Satan lost already.
Huh?
Satan lost already.
No. What's your nationality? So you're destroyed. What's your nationality?
I'm Judah, man.
That's your tribe. What's your nationality?
My nationality?
Yes.
I'm a Hebrew.
That's the language.
He know his stuff. He know his
What's
stuff.
your nationality though? What's your nationality?
African American.
So you're destroyed. You're still alive,
I ain't never
but you're
believed in
destroyed. How come you don't know you're from the nation of Israel? How come you don't know what tribe you're from? Because you are destroyed. That's what it's saying. Until you are destroyed. So once you start saying, I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican, I'm Black American, I'm a Negro, I'm Cuban, I'm Puerto Rican. All right, they destroyed. Take the yokes of iron off now.
Right.
We got these Negroes and Hispanics. We got them.
I appreciate y'all, man. I got to go.
All right, brother. Get somebody to subscribe that, brother. So now, why? I'm going to ask you before you go, because you're about to go. Why?
I'm not connected with
did all this happen to us?
You know, like, do you know what the word
Let's find out. Verse 15. 15. Deuteronomy 20, verse 15.
Verse
15. He wants to answer. Go ahead.
Y'all got my attention. Look, that's all I
may be wrong, but to my own opinion,
and I do it to myself. Okay. You know, I don't invite nobody in because this is not.
I want you to hear this real clearly. This is why all these atrocities happen to the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So hearken means listen. This is going to happen if you don't listen to God. And where can we find our heritage again? In the Bible. So if we don't listen to God, what's going to happen? Read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day.
So observe means to read, do means to apply what you read. So when you do what you apply, what's that called again?
It's going to come off once we do
obedience. It's called obedience, but I want another word. Is it now? Wisdom. Wisdom is applying knowledge, right? So if you don't apply what you read, what's going to happen? Read.
That all these curses,
what?
Curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Now it's going to go through a whole list of curses all the way to verse 68. It's going to list curses. We already read one of the curses in 49 when it says, a nation shall rise up against thee. You don't know the language, and the symbol is going to be the eagle. That was one of the curses. Now we're reading another curse in verse 16. It says, you're going to be cursed in the city. Think about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. In the cities, are we living the best lives in the cities? Do we find our women on the corners selling their precious body? Do we see our brothers on the corner selling drugs, poison to their own people, killing their own people? Do you see our children on the corner being disrespectful to their elders, riding down the block doing wheelies in and out of traffic, don't give a damn about their own health? That's a curse. So we are cursed in the city. I want you to look at these skyscrapers up here. Look at these high buildings. Do we occupy these buildings? This is not for us. This is where we come to slave. This is our new slave field. Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
We're in the cotton field. We're in the sugarcane field, the strawberry field, tobacco field, the cocoa field, and now we're in the city field. We're in the job field. We can't speak our own minds. Even in the NBA, NFL, All those fields where we get paid a lot of money, can't just speak your own mind. So that basketball, that football, that baseball, it comes with a chain attached to it. It's chained to your ankle, and it's a muzzle on your mouth. So you might as well be wearing this again. That's exactly what it is. So even in the fields where we are lucrative, we still slaves. Read.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
That's going into your bank account and your businesses. We live from check to check, tax season to tax season, and our businesses are pretty much owned by the so-called white man. Guess why? Because our land, our business is on his land. So if he says, you know what, I want to build a railroad through here, or a highway, or a parking lot. I know you've been here for 25 years, it's your business, but you need to pack up and go. Find somewhere else to go. You know how hard it is to move a business? To relocate? That's not easy. So you don't really even own the house you live in. You pay for the house, but the land, you still paying taxes on it. What you got?
Yeah, you have to keep in mind that you got to be aware, my brothers, that this is the second war besides Sodom and Gomorrah. And all these crackers running shit here, excuse my language.
You can say it, it's alright.
All these crackers running shit here, don't like this. Don't like this. They're following the devil telling
Who did the Bible refer to them so-called white people as?
Esau.
But the Bible, he is Esau as a nation. But what did the Bible call him? Read verse 49 again. Just to remind you what the Bible actually refers to them as. Read.
Verse 49. 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end.
I'm sorry, verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemy.
Now what?
Thine enemy.
So what the Bible call him? You listening? What did the Bible refer to the so-called white man? And then everybody that's not on this side, because it ain't just them. It ain't just a so-called white man. It ain't just a so-called white man. It's the so-called Chinese man, the so-called Japanese man. Read it again.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
What did the Bible refer to them as? Enemies. The so-called Japanese, the so-called Chinese, the so-called white, the so-called Africans, the so-called Indians. Those are all your enemies. If they're not on this side, the 12 tribes of Israel, they are referred to as enemies.
Bring it out.
Enemies. So an enemy would do this. A trespasser is somebody that will steal your land. He's that too. But would a friend take your land and rape your women and molest your children and send them out as gator bait? Would a friend do that? So they have traits of what? Your enemies.
I don't see Africans on that list.
You don't see Africans on that because we're not Africans. We come from Israel. Let's get that, Galatians. Our homeland, our motherland is Israel. Even though it's in Africa, we don't refer to ourselves as Africans or African Americans. You know Leo Scipio Africanus, right? You know what that is?
I heard that, yeah.
He is, Leo Scipio Africanus is an African soldier that defeated Hannibal in the Second Punic War. Africa was named after him. So, in America was named after Amerigo Vespucci. Those are two white men, Vespucci. Two white men. So when you say I'm African American, you say I descend from two white men.
Africans hate us too. I've never understood.
Because you're not African. Watch this, read that.
Galatians chapter 4 verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
That's our motherland, Jerusalem. So now, let's get some laws now. So we realize that we went into this slavery for breaking God's laws. And who put us into slavery? You remember? Who allowed us to go into slavery? Do you remember? Who allowed us to go into slavery? God. You heard that? God allowed us to go into slavery because He's the God of all gods. He's the inventor of all things. And if you don't do what He says, He's going to allow the other nations, which the Bible calls your enemies, they're going to be your masters, and you're going to be their servants. So how do we reverse that curse? What do we do?
Bring it out.
Obey. So now let's start to obey. All right, read that. No, give me 1 Corinthians first. Are you married? Single. Are you married? You got a girlfriend? How many women you smashing? How many you smashing right now?
I have one.
You got one?
I just moved.
But it's not your girlfriend? It's your girlfriend? Or it's just a side piece?
Side piece.
Side piece, all right. Is she black, white, Hispanic? She's white. So you smashing the enemy. You're sleeping with the enemy. So how can you be pro-black if you're smashing the enemy? That don't make sense. You're putting your precious body inside of a dog. That's bestiality. Because the Bible refers to them as dogs. We're going to get into it. Watch this, read.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3.
We're dealing with you right now. And then we're going to go back to you. Read.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
The head of every man is who? And the head of the woman is who? Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
The head of Christ is who? Read.
Every man praying or prophesying.
So we are praying. We're prophesying right now because we're reading the Bible. But if we were praying, there's a law that's required of you right now because we are reading the Bible, right? So let's see if you are able to keep this law. Because everybody says the Bible, the laws, you can't keep them no more. It's too hard, right? Let's see if this was too hard for you. Read.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered.
Whose head is out here is covered amongst us right now? Is your head covered? Is your head covered? Watch this. Read.
Having his head covered dishonoreth his head.
Who's your head? Who's your head?
God, or Christ.
Christ. So you're dishonoring Christ. So would you continue to dishonor Christ, or would you start to honor Christ by taking that scully off?
I could do that, but like I need a cut, bro. Like
so your cut is worth the kingdom of heaven?
Nah, man, but I'm looking crazy right now.
So you don't care about God?
I do.
Read it again.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered dishonoreth his head.
You're saying that's too hard right now to take it off because you don't look good.
Nah, I mean, all right.
All praises. So, hey, you don't look that bad, boy. You're good. So was that hard to do?
Nah.
All right. So are the commandments too hard?
Nah.
So if you love God, this is what you do. Give me love. 1 John 5:3. If you love God, none of these commandments are too hard for you.
Right.
We're gonna read it for you, and then we're gonna deal with you. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna deal with your situation. You say you're not smashing nobody, right?
Nah, not here.
You celibate?
Nah, I just moved over here,
so you was.
Yeah.
So you trying to build up your flock again?
I mean, I'm not focused on that, but I mean, if it happens,
it happens, right?
Yeah.
All right. So AIDS happens too. So if it happens, it happens. Herpes happens. So if it happens, it happens. So 1 out of 4 women, no matter what their race is, 1 out of 4 people. I'm not gonna say women. I'm not gonna single out the women. But 1 out of 4 people has some type of STD. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
So you're literally taking your precious part of your body. You only get 1 of those. It ain't gonna grow back. So you taking something that's precious to you, and you're playing dice with it.
Right.
Give me, make sure I get no AIDS today. Shit, HIV. Damn. What you gonna do now? That's a life. That's a life change.
That's it.
So you just know that. I want you to read this. Read that.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God.
Now we're talking about the love of God. Read.
That we keep His commandments.
What?
Keep His commandments.
Taking that scarf off of your head was not hard. That's something you can do. Whenever you pray or read the Bible, you can take that scully off. You can take that hat off. You do it in the court. You do it when the police say, hey, take that hat off, boy. You take it off then. So why you can't take it off for the love of God? Watch this. Read.
And His commandments are not grievous.
Commandments are not?
Are not grievous.
That means they're not hard. So when people say the commandments are too hard, they're really saying, I don't love God.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity.
Be strong in the